Friday, February 5th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, and as you can see, the snow is coming down outside our Shelton studio, right onto our HAN cruiser that's parked out front. We also have reporters all around the region, and we'll be bringing you the latest information on today's storm, as well as some other local headlines. Mike Suppy will also be calling in later with sports, and Donald Ang will take a look back on this day in history. But first, this morning's snowstorm took many by surprise in southwestern Connecticut. As the snow continues to add up, this Friday marks the first snow day of the year for schools in our coverage area. A winter storm warning is in effect for all of Fairfield County until 1 this afternoon. 4 to 8 inches is expected in the region. Snow will be tapering off as we move into the afternoon. And we're hearing reports from all around southwestern Connecticut that roads are slippery and many areas are not yet plowed. Though some are still out in the snow, as you can see, emergency crews in Ridgefield on Main Street responding to a call. The Ridgefield Press sent us that video of a fire department truck and ambulance going out, and you could see just how snow covered the roads are there. We also have many reports of accidents all around, including some very serious ones in Monroe and Easton. For example, the Easton Police Department responded to an accident involving a car versus a utility pole on Route 59 this morning just before 8 a.m. However, the one occupant was uninjured, according to Police Captain Richard Doyle. The Easton Volunteer Emergency Medical Service and Easton Fire Department were on the scene. United Illuminating arrived to replace the pole. The road will have one lane open for the next several hours, they said. And according to Doyle, there's been several spinouts in Easton, so they're asking people to stay off the roads. And it's a similar story in Monroe today. At about 9:40 this morning, Monroe and EMS report multiple traffic crashes in town, including this video you're seeing here of Monroe police at one of those scenes. There was also a rollover at Hattertown Road and Judd Roads, according to the Monroe Courier. Police have requested that everyone remain at home unless absolutely necessary. They wrote that in a statement on their Facebook page, which you can check out to get more information. State police have also warned that there is steady snow and limited visibility. They are asking all drivers to please slow down, increase your following distances behind other vehicles, and make sure your lights, wipers, and seat belts are on. We do have some snow totals so far as of 9 a.m. today, though. The snow is coming down pretty heavy, so I'm sure those are changing fast. However, as of 9 a.m. in New Canaan, there were about 3.75 inches. Darien had 3.5 inches, as well as Milford with 3.5. New Haven had 3 inches. But we're going to have new snow totals for you coming up as the DOT is set to release those soon. And moving on to some other news today, we will get back to some of our snow coverage, but Shelton police busted 2 people Thursday after witnessing a drug deal in the corner of a parking lot at Bridgeport Avenue and Perry Hill Road. An undercover detective stopped the female, later identified as 45-year-old Carrie Franco of Howe Avenue. Several folds of heroin were discovered in Franco's possession, and after further investigation, detectives identified 20-year-old Joshua Roman of Bridgeport Avenue in Shelton as the man who sold Franco the heroin. Franco was arrested and charged with illegal possession of heroin and released on a promise to appear in court later. You can get more details at sheltonherald.com. And the Trumbull Police Department have identified the driver of a vehicle that struck Trumbull Town Clerk Suzanne Burr-Monaco and her husband Dominic on Wednesday night. Police say that 24-year-old Hunter K. was traveling southbound on Churchill Road when his vehicle crossed over the double yellow line and struck a northbound vehicle which was driven by Burr-Monaco. All 3 people involved in the collision were transported to St. Vincent's Hospital's emergency room, according to Lieutenant Cinto, and that accident remains under investigation. Trumbull's First Selectman Tim Herb said that Burr-Monaco and her husband were rushed to the emergency room at St. Vincent's Hospital thanks to the work of Trumbull first responders. Republican Town Committee Chairman Paul Lavoie told the Times Thursday morning that the town clerk was recovering from bumps and bruises and suffered some non-life-threatening injuries. She's very shaken up, Lavoie said, but fortunately it's nothing major and she's expected to make a full recovery. He added that her 79-year-old husband's injuries include 2 broken legs, which will be operated on Friday. And the cause of a death of a 51-year-old Stamford resident on I-95 in Darien this week has been ruled a suicide, according to the Chief Medical Examiner's Office in Farmington. Timothy Sheridan of Gurley Road in Stamford was fatally struck on Tuesday on I-95 in Darien. Connecticut State Police called the incident an untimely death on Wednesday when he was identified as the pedestrian. State Police say they received numerous 911 calls regarding a pedestrian that was struck by a tractor trailer near Exit 9. Sheridan was pronounced dead upon arrival of Darien emergency responders. The victim was removed and taken to the medical examiner's office. At the time of the crash, lanes were closed for an extended period of time. And Milford police took custody of the alleged victim of a Howard Johnson shooting on Monday, February 1st, charging him with drug offenses. Police say that 22-year-old Bryce Barnes of West Haven had been registered in a room at the hotel on November 2nd when Hassan Woods, 26 years old of New Haven, and Tavon Alston, 27 of Bridgeport, allegedly shot him in the buttocks during a robbery attempt. The FBI Task Force, Statewide Narcotics Task Force, and the Milford Police Department were able to secure a warrant for Barnes after a joint investigation. Police say the following items were seized from the hotel room in the investigation, and that included 48.7 grams of marijuana, 2 bundles of heroin, and 13 bundles of oxycodone, among other items. Barnes is facing several drug charges. You can get more information on that at milfordmirror.com. But just taking another look at what's happening in the region right now, our HAN Network community news sites are keeping you up to date. As we've said, it's the first snow day for many. We haven't seen any schools that are still open today, and we are seeing the snow continue to add up. A winter storm warning in effect until 1 o'clock, and we have some reporters who have been out capturing video all around the region. This is in Stamford, I believe, where the roads don't look too bad earlier this morning, but we're seeing a lot of snowpack more on those smaller roads, and some of the main ones, though, looking okay. I know, in fact, our own John Kovach was out in Fairfield. He captured some video of some pretty spots because, I mean, I got to be honest, you look out the window, it looks pretty nice right now, as long as you're safe and not out on the roads. But let's take a look at that, John Kovach in Fairfield.
John Kovach in Fairfield for the HAN Network. John Kovach in Fairfield, HAN Network. It's about 9 o'clock, a little after. We're out checking the roads and the snow here. We've seen some slippage, but the one thing I'm noticing that stands out, hopefully we can get this shot, is just how this is packing down on the roads that have not been cleared. And you can see how this has just kind of become almost ice. It's just packed down slush. It's going to be very difficult driving until the plows get out. So if you're someplace you can stay, that's probably the best course of action. John Kovach, HAN Network, Fairfield.
Well, we have a lot more snow coverage coming up. We're going to take a break. We also have Mike Seppi calling in with the latest in sports. Obviously, high school sports for the most part today are canceled, but he's going to give you a look at what happened yesterday. And we'll also take a look back on this day in history with Don Eng and get back to more of what's happening on this Friday, February 5th, coming up after this.
Had a sports injury that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist quickly. Their highly trained orthopedic professionals expertly treat you without an appointment. Skiing, snowboard, or sports accident, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk. Call 203-845-2070 or coastalorthoexpress.com. Find them on Facebook at Coastal Ortho CT.
Darien Sport Shop is a unique store because it's a family store. A busy mom can come in with kids in tow and find everything she needs for them, and even find a dress for herself for Saturday night. And if she's in a rush, she can simply go home and order it from us that night. We'll deliver it the next day. The Darien Sport Shop. We're pretty on the outside and amazing on the inside. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
It's the new year. The to-do list is long and it's easy to feel pulled in many directions at once. Your professional personal shoppers at Walter Stewart's are ready to check groceries off your list by shopping for you. Save extra time this year and spend it doing more important things. Great food and wine delivered to your home with the same-day service. Shop Stewart's online at stewartsmarket.com.
While there's still a bite out on the water, most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
Hi, I'm Rob Adams with my good friend Donald Eng, and we're the home team for Nutmeg Sports, Monday through Wednesday at 2 o'clock right here on the HAN Network. We are the place for all things Connecticut sports, so come hang out with us on Nutmeg Sports. Don? They don't call him the best color man in the game for nothing. Nutmeg Sports, 2 o'clock, Monday through Wednesday right here on the HAN Network.
And we're back on this Friday, February 5th, on your coffee break on the HAN Network. The snow is coming down outside heavy and it's accumulating fast. We're seeing a lot of things changing. We have some reporters all around the area, including Jill Dion in Milford. I know she shot a bit of video and she says that in Milford the snow is heavy and wet and it looks like there's about 7 inches on the ground as of 10:30. The main roads are clear, she said, but still not great for driving because the snow continues to fall, which is of course affecting visibility. The shoreline is quiet with no violent waves like we saw during the last storm. She said the snow is creating a pretty picture around Milford because the snow is clinging to trees and the reeds along the harbor, but all that heavy wet snow on the trees is starting to weigh down some branches and power lines, which of course could be a problem later on. And I know Chris Burns, who's editor of the Reading Pilot, shot some video along Route 53 today that we're going to check out now. Take a look at that.
This is Chris Burns, editor of the Reading Pilot. I'm just entering Reading now on Route 53. For the most part, the snow appears to have slowed down a little bit. It looks like we're probably getting about a ½ an inch per hour at this point. It's a wet snow, but the road crews are doing a really good job here keeping the roads clean. So the main roads appear to be, good for driving. Right now, I'm only doing about 5 miles an hour under the normally posted speed limit. So if people need to get out and about to their jobs, I don't think that there should be a huge problem. We're going to have to check and see what the side roads are like. I have a feeling they're probably going to be a little bit more backed up with snow just because the schools are canceled today and the plows are not out in full force trying to get kids into schools. So stay tuned for some more updates from Reading. This is the editor of the Reading Pilot, Chris Burns, for the HAN Network.
Awesome. Okay.
And we're
cool.
back. We're back on your coffee break. That was some video in Reading on Route 53. And on the line, we have Mike Suppy, who's calling in with the latest in sports. But Mike, where are you right now in this snowstorm?
I am in Stratford, and you can check out the little video I shot right off of Main Street in Stratford. It's coming down pretty hard out here. The roads are looking pretty sloppy. It's a winter wonderland for sure.
It is. I know I was in Stratford earlier this morning and not much was plowed yet. And it's coming down really quickly. So we're happy though.
Yeah.
We're happy though.
That's
that you're
why I'm
calling
doing this via the phone this time.
That's right. Well, Mike, I know a lot of our planned sports schedule for today is canceled, obviously, because of school closings. But what else is going on?
Yeah, tonight a lot of the slate has been wiped out due to the inclement weather. A lot of the stuff has been postponed until Monday. Keep an eye on, the stuff that's supposed to go on tomorrow. I know there's a lot of wrestling meets and things like that, so you want to keep checking back on the HAN websites for those cancellations. But last night we were at the track and field for the FCAC in a broadcast event right here by the HAN Network at the Floyd Little Athletic Center in New Haven, and it was Danbury. They won the girls' meet, edging out Ridgefield High by virtue of winning the final race of the evening, the 4x400 relay. As reported by the Ridgefield Press's Tim Murphy, a victory in the final event, the aforementioned relay, allowed Danbury High girls indoor track and field team to overtake Ridgefield and win the FCAC title, their third in a row. Going into the final race, Ridgefield led the Hatters by 2.5 points, 89.5 to 87, but Danbury's first place finish in the relay, coupled with the Tigers' third place finish, resulted in a 4-point swing, giving Danbury 97 points in the conference title. Ridgefield was second with 95.5 points. Had the Tigers and not Greenwich High finished second to Danbury in the 4x400 relay, they would have earned enough points to win the team championship by a half point. Instead, Greenwich's time of 4:10.51 edged Ridgefield's time of 4:10.85 for the runner-up spot behind Danbury, which ran the race in 4:08.77. As for individuals, Staples Senior handled the ballsy continued her career dominance by winning the 1600 and the 3200 events. On the boys' side, it was Danbury coasting to the team title with 107 points, with Brian McMahon placing second with 56 points. For McMahon, their senior runner, Eric Vanderels, he set FCAC championship meet records in both the 1600 and 3200, so a great job by him. There was also some hockey going on last night in a bit of a lighter schedule, but Greenwich High took on the Fairfield Co-op and won a narrow 1-0 decision. And in a non-league matchup, Brookfield Bethel Danbury defeated Mount Everett of Massachusetts 3-2 to win its fourth game in a row. And, getting back to tonight, like I said, just keep your eye on the websites to see any of the cancellations and things like that. We'll be updating them as we get them. And that's it for sports.
All right. Thanks so much, Mike, for calling in, and stay safe there in Stratford.
All right. Appreciate it. You guys stay safe, too.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Well, we have some major traffic news to report. The Merritt Parkway North right now is closed between 46 and 47 in Fairfield due to a crash there. Again, state police, all local officials are warning folks to stay off the roads right now because the snow is coming down fast and it's accumulating quickly, and there hasn't been a chance to plow everything as it comes down so quickly. But keeping an eye on that, again, Merritt Parkway North closed between 46 and 47 in Fairfield due to a crash there. But we're going to switch gears right now. Donald Ang is going to take a look back on this day in history. Check it out.
The most famous comeback since Lazarus, and it was caught on film. But first, to 1900, the United States and United Kingdom signed a treaty for the Panama Canal. An earlier effort had failed after 13 years and at a cost of more than 20,000 lives. Unlike the French, who had decided to try to make a sea-level canal, the Americans decided to employ a series of locks and lakes considerably more effective than digging a ditch across a continent. 1917, Congress passes the Immigration Act of 1917, over Woodrow Wilson's veto. Also known as the Asiatic Barred Zone Act, it forbade immigration from nearly all of South and Southeast Asia. To 1985, Ugo Vittere, the mayor of Rome, and Chedly Klebi, the mayor of Carthage, meet in Tunis to sign a treaty of friendship, officially ending the Third Punic War, which had been going on between the two cities for the previous 2,131 years, although there really hadn't been much fighting in the later stages of the war. The last major battle had occurred in 146 BCE. And finally, now we go to 1945 for this.
The Commander-in-Chief goes ashore with Sergio Osmeña, President of the Philippines. This is a great day for all the Filipinos, not only those being liberated on Leyte, but also the gallant Philippine guerrillas who have never given up fighting the invader. It's a day of hope for all the islanders who were forced into Japan's greater East Asia prosperity sphere only to find themselves enslaved.
1945, General Douglas MacArthur returns to the Philippines. MacArthur had evacuated in 1942, shortly before the Battle of Bataan. Upon arriving in Australia, he gave a speech in which he said, "I came through and I shall return." High Command in Washington ordered him to change the wording to "we shall return," which he refused to do. That is your look back in history, and I am Donald Ng.
Thanks, Don. But we're back live in the Shelton studio, still following this winter storm. It is coming down out there, and we have a lot more video, a lot more reports from our folks all around the region. We're going to get back to that after we take a quick break. So coming up on your coffee break, more storm coverage, some more local news coming up after this.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. The construction is incredible, whether it's the floors, the fireplace, the moldings, the lighting. It's as peaceful as my home was in the middle of the woods. It feels like a house. It does not feel like a condo or a townhome. I feel like I'm in my house.
healthy, confident smiles begin at Stratford Orthodontics. Conveniently located on Main Street, we are Stratford's hometown orthodontist. We offer the latest in orthodontic technology, including Damon braces and Invisalign. We always accept new patients. Call today to schedule a complimentary consultation. 203-375-8332. Stratford Orthodontics, 2499 Main Street, Stratford. 203-375-8332. And online at stratfordsmile.com.
Find over 1,000 special stories at Hospital for Special Surgery. Go to hss.edu/backinthegame.
I was jogging 5 months after my cartilage tear.
Skiing a year after hip surgery.
And playing grandma 4 weeks after hip replacement.
One special hospital, 1,000 special stories. See Connecticut patients at hss.edu/CT.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
You are watching the HAN network, and you're not alone. Nearly 500,000 viewers enjoyed our broadcasts in the first 5 months. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network. You are what?
And we're back on this Friday edition of your coffee break on the HAN network. Following this winter storm, we're just hearing more and more reports of road closures as major accidents are occurring. North Salem Road, which is Route 116 in Ridgefield, is currently closed because of a car versus a pole accident near the New York state line. So really, officials are urging folks to stay off the roads. And on the line right now, we have our editorial director, John Kovach, who has been out and about in Fairfield in this storm. John, thanks for calling in.
Hey, Kate, how are the roads up your way?
The roads are not good. I mean, it's just coming down so quickly, and we just keep hearing more and more about spinouts and accidents. So, I mean, I know you just let us know about the Merritt Parkway closure in Fairfield, right, on the northbound side?
Yes, that was just tweeted. That's not far from where I am, but I'm not going to try to get over there.
No.
And it sounds like the roads are getting worse as this storm moves on. And I think they expected it to intensify late morning.
Right.
And I think that's what we're seeing. I did just see some reports about outages being a major concern. It looks to me like that is to the east where the worst of the storm is to hit. I'm seeing some major outages in eastern Connecticut. It looks right now like it's all isolated incidents, according to both UI and Eversource. UI, United Illuminating, has an incident involving 128 customers in Stratford. The biggest in our area involving Eversource is 19 customers in Monroe.
Mm-hmm. Right. Wow. Yeah, I know the Monroe Courier was reporting a lot of accidents there, and police asking everyone to stay off the roads. They were following several things. And John, you know,
I think that's good advice.
Yes, it is good advice. And I know we were talking earlier, Jill mentioned this in her report on Milford, is that what's really going to be the problem is the weight of the snow on the trees. I mean, a lot of these branches are already hanging low. We could see a lot more power outages later on.
I'm seeing a lot of branches bending just looking out my window here in Fairfield. including this old pine tree that I've looked at for about a dozen years, waiting for the one storm that is going to pull it over because it's looking a little weather beaten, let's say.
Right.
But it keeps holding up. I think that's going to be your big problems right now is the weight of the snow on trees and power lines and the roads. And if you're somewhere you can stay, I would certainly stay there because as I found out in my report and tried to illustrate was just how on the unplowed road the snow is getting packed down.
Right. And I know you were out and about kind of because in some ways is, you know, some of the dangers this storm might pose. There's also, it's kind of beautiful out right now. It's the first snow day of the season. No schools have had a snow day yet, and I haven't heard of anyone that's still open today, any schools. So there's something kind of beautiful about it. Oh, you did see one?
Newington, I heard, stayed open.
Wow.
But I don't know if they've decided to close. And they're to the east where it's supposed to be worse. So that's a hardcore effort to stay open there.
Right. Yeah, you know, it was interesting.
Go ahead.
I was interesting. I have some friends in Massachusetts who are teachers, and all of them had a delay up there, which they were kind of upset about and not sure why they didn't get canceled. So kind of interesting there, but it's hitting us pretty hard down here. I can say that.
It is, and as we've said, it's just getting worse. The wind appears to be picking up. The early estimates were that it would gust to 30 miles an hour. Hamden police are asking people to stay off the roads. They're saying there are numerous crashes, disabled vehicles, wires down, and Heidi Voigt of NBC 30 just reported that there is a tree down blocking Route 15 in Hamden and that there are hundreds of incidents across Connecticut. So this actually may be doing more damage than the blizzard of a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and I mean, that blizzard did happen on a Saturday, so, you know, less people are out. I think a lot of people are still trying to get to work despite, you know, schools being closed today. I think we all kind of thought this storm would be over by now, but as we've said, winter storm warning is in effect today until 1 o'clock. The snow is expected to taper off, though, as we move into the afternoon, but still very heavy right now, John. Thanks so much for calling in, and I know you're keeping an eye on things and keeping our websites updated.
Doing what we can here. Stay safe if you're out there.
All right. Thanks so much, John. All right. John Kovach. And John was out, as we said, all around Fairfield. He captured some nice video of a scenic area in Fairfield. So check that out right now. Some nice video shot by John.
John Kovach in Fairfield for the HAN Network. For all you can say about this snow that's closed schools on this Friday, the first snow day of the year, you can't say this is not a pretty snow. This is a lot that's been cleared for subdivision, and yet it looks like a beautiful meadow, a winter country scene. In Fairfield, John Kovach.
All right, well, we're going to step out for a quick break. When we come back, we're going to recap some of the top stories that we're following today, as well as bring you the latest on this winter storm coming up on your coffee break after this.
Had a sports injury that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist quickly. Their highly trained orthopedic professionals expertly treat you without an appointment. Skiing, snowboard, or sports accident, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk. Call 203-845-2070 or coastalorthoexpress.com. Find them on Facebook at Coastal Ortho CT.
Darien Sport Shop is a unique store because it's a family store. A busy mom can come in with kids in tow and find everything she needs for them, and even find a dress for herself for Saturday night. And if she's in a rush, she can simply go home and order it from us that night. We'll deliver it the next day. The Darien Sport Shop. We're pretty on the outside and amazing on the inside. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
It's the new year. The to-do list is long and it's easy to feel pulled in many directions at once. Your professional personal shoppers at Walter Stewart's are ready to check groceries off your list by shopping for you. Save extra time this year and spend it doing more important things. Great food and wine delivered to your home with the same-day service. Shop Stewart's online at stewartsmarket.com.
While there's still a bite out on the water, most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
Hi, I'm Rob Adams with my good friend Donald Eng, and we're the home team for Nutmeg Sports Monday through Wednesday at 2 o'clock right here on the HAN Network. We are the place for all things Connecticut sports, so come hang out with us on Nutmeg Sports. Don? They don't call him the best color man in the game for nothing. Nutmeg Sports, 2 o'clock Monday through Wednesday right here on the HAN Network.
And we're back on this Friday, February 5th edition of your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski. That's a look outside our Shelton studio right now where the snow continues to pile up. This morning's snowstorm took many by surprise in southwestern Connecticut as the snow continues to add up. This Friday marks the first snow day of the year for schools in our coverage area. A winter storm warning remains in effect for all of Fairfield County until 1 in the afternoon. 4 to 8 inches expected in the region. Snow will be tapering off as we move into the afternoon, but we're getting more and more reports of slippery roads, including closures on the Merritt Parkway northbound. But emergency crews, however, are still getting out there, as you can see in this Ridgefield Press video on Main Street of an ambulance and a fire truck out there. They sent that to us earlier this morning, and we're just getting more and more reports of accidents there. So please, if you can, stay off the roads for everyone's safety, including that of the emergency responders. We also have reports of accidents in Monroe and Easton. The Easton Police Department responded to this accident involving a car versus a utility pole on Route 59 just before 8 a.m. The one occupant was uninjured, according to Police Captain Richard Doyle. However, emergency crews responded, as well as United Illuminating arrived to replace the pole. The road will have one lane open for several hours. That's still in effect. And there have been several other spinouts in the area. As you can see, this is a Monroe accident we have some footage of. At 9:40 this morning, Monroe Fire and EMS report multiple traffic crashes in town, including a rollover at Hattertown and Judd Roads. Monroe police, like many, are requesting that everyone remains at home unless absolutely necessary. It's the same story with state police, who are warning that there is steady snow and limited visibility. They ask all drivers, if they're out there, to please slow down, increase their following distances, and make sure your lights, wipers, and seat belts are on. We're just getting in the latest snow totals, which have changed a lot since 9 o'clock this morning. We're looking at 3.5 to 4 inches in some areas. Now, according to the state DOT, those have gone up. In Milford, 7 inches. In Beacon Falls, 6.75. In Meriden, Connecticut, 5.75. Darien with 5.5. New Haven, 5 inches. Danbury only seeing about 2.75 inches, but we're still following that. But as we said, a big difference between 9 a.m. and now. So yeah, we're still following that though, and our reporters are keeping their websites updated. But moving on to some of the other top news stories that we're following today. Shelton police busted 2 people Thursday after witnessing a drug deal in the corner of a parking lot of Bridgeport Avenue and Perry Hill Road. An undercover detective identified the female as 45-year-old Carrie Franco of Howe Avenue in Shelton. Several folds of heroin were discovered in Franco's possession, and after further investigation, detectives identified 20-year-old Joshua Roman of Bridgeport Avenue in Shelton as the man who sold her the heroin. Franco was arrested and charged with possession of heroin and released on a promise to appear in court later this month. Roman was also arrested and charged with possession of heroin and possession with intent to sell. Shelton police are continuing to be proactive in investigating drug dealing and are asking anyone with information to contact them directly. Calls can be kept confidential. And the Trumbull Police Department has identified the driver of the vehicles that struck Trumbull Town Clerk Suzanne Burr-Monaco and her husband Dominic Wednesday night. Police said that Hunter K., 24 years old, was traveling southbound on Churchill Road when his vehicle crossed over the double yellow line and struck a northbound vehicle which was driven by Burr-Monaco. All 3 people involved in the collision were transported to St. Vincent's Hospital's emergency room, according to Lieutenant Cinto, and that accident remains under investigation. Trumbull's first selectman Tim Herb said that Burr Monaco and her husband were rushed to the emergency room thanks to the work of Trumbull's first responders. Republican Town Committee Chairman Paul Lavoie told the Trumbull Times Thursday morning that the town clerk was recovering from bumps and bruises and suffered non-life-threatening injuries from the collision. They said she's very shaken up, but fortunately the injuries are nothing major and she is expected to make a full recovery. Her 79-year-old husband's injuries included 2 broken legs, which were being operated on this week. So we wish them the best. But again, we've still been following this storm, seeing a lot of road closures, as well as one of the most serious, Merritt Parkway North closed between 46 and 47 in Fairfield due to a crash. We're seeing a lot more road closures, including North Salem Road, which is Route 116 in Ridgefield, closed because of a car versus pole accident near the New York state line. In Norwalk, we're hearing reports of wires down on Meadow Street. Route 136 is closed between Lawrence and Woodward. Again, we've been talking about the heavy snow weighing a lot of branches down and lines down, so we expect that to be causing a problem later. But please keep up to date with your HAN Network community news site. They're going to tell you what's open, what's closed, what's happening. So definitely keep an eye on that. That's going to do it for this Friday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. We're going to see you on Monday at 11 for more Coffee Break, but check out cheerleading tomorrow live on the HAN Network. Have a safe Friday.